Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the only podcast where moving to Israel is treated like the stand-up material it clearly is. But seriously, folks, making Aliyah is like signing up for the world's most expensive comedy improv class, except you can't leave after an hour, and the audience, which is everyone in Israel, will definitely let you know when you're bombing. Let me tell you about Israeli customer service. In America, customer service has this whole fake politeness thing going on. Hi there. How are you today? Can I help you find anything? Would you like to sign up for our rewards program that will spam your email until the end of time? In Israel, customer service is more like therapeutic honesty. I walk into a store here, and the guy behind the counter looks at me and goes, "What do you want?" Not, "How can I help you?" Not, "Welcome to our store." Just, "What do you want?" Like he's a genie, but a really tired genie who's been granting wishes all day and is frankly over it. And you know what? I love it. Because finally, someone is acknowledging that we both know why I'm here. I need something, he has something, let's figure out if those things match up and move on with our lives. But the best part is when you don't speak Hebrew well enough to explain what you actually want, so you end up playing this game I call Israeli charades. I needed a phone charger last week. Simple, right? Phone charger. Universal need. Should be easy. I walk into the electronics store and say, "Ani rotze." I want, and then I make this gesture like I'm plugging something into a wall while pointing at my phone. The guy stares at me for a full 10 seconds, then says in perfect English, "You want a phone charger?" "Yes." "Ken, phone charger." "Why didn't you just say that?" I thought I was being culturally appropriate." Dude, this is 2025. Everyone speaks English. Also, your mime work needs practice. Speaking of language, can we talk about Hebrew for a minute? Hebrew is the only language where you can accidentally order a wife instead of a coffee if you get your vowels wrong. True story. Well, not my true story, but it happened to someone, probably. I'm taking Hebrew classes, of course, because nothing says I belong in this country like sitting in a classroom with teenagers from France who speak better Hebrew than you'll ever speak anything. My Hebrew teacher is this lovely woman named Miriam, who has the patience of someone who has clearly explained the difference between ani and anaknu to thousands of confused Americans. "Josh," she says, "tell the class about your weekend." So I stand up, very confident, and I say, "Besof hashavua, ani halachti im hakelev sheli lagina." The whole class starts giggling. "Josh," Miriam says gently, "you just told us you went to the garden with your dog. Do you have a dog?" "No." "Do you have a garden?" "No." "What did you actually do?" "I went to the gym." Turns out gym and garden are dangerously similar in Hebrew, and I don't have nearly enough vocabulary to recover from that kind of mistake. So now my Hebrew class thinks I have an imaginary dog that I take to an imaginary garden, and honestly, I'm just going with it. It's easier than explaining. But the real culture shock isn't the language. It's the social dynamics. Like in America, if you don't know someone, you don't talk to them. You might smile politely if you make eye contact, but you don't start conversations with strangers unless someone is literally on fire. In Israel, everyone is your potential best friend, therapist, or life coach, whether you asked for it or not. I'm on the bus last week, minding my own business, when this elderly woman sits next to me and immediately starts asking about my life. In Hebrew, rapid-fire Hebrew. "Mashlomcha? Aichata? At nasui? Yesh lecha yeladim? Lamalo? Ata ochel tov?" And I'm sitting there like a deer in headlights, understanding maybe every third word, nodding and smiling like I'm following this conversation about my apparent life choices. Finally, this teenage girl across from us takes pity on me and translates, "She wants to know how you are. If you're married, if you have kids, why not, and whether you're eating enough vegetables. Vegetables. This woman I met 30 seconds ago is concerned about my fiber intake. Tell her I eat vegetables, I say. The teenager translates. The woman shakes her head disapprovingly and pulls an apple out of her purse. And that's how I learned that accepting fruit from strangers on public transportation is apparently a normal part of Israeli culture. Back home, that would be a stranger danger situation. Here, it's Tuesday. The woman gets off the bus, but not before patting my cheek and saying something that the teenager translates as, "Eat more. You're too skinny. Find a nice Jewish girl." Find a nice Jewish girl. I've been in this country for 4 months, and I'm already getting dating advice from bus passengers. But you know what the craziest part is? It works. Like this aggressive friendliness, this complete disregard for personal boundaries, it actually makes you feel like you belong somewhere. Because in America, you can live in the same apartment building for years and never know your neighbors' names. Here, I've been in my place for 2 weeks, and my neighbor's already given me restaurant recommendations, invited me to her cousin's wedding, and offered to teach my future children Hebrew. I don't have future children, but apparently that's just a timing issue in her mind. And the arguing, oh my God, the arguing. Israelis argue like it's an Olympic sport, but it's not angry arguing, it's passionate arguing. I care so much about this topic that I'm going to explain it to you very loudly with lots of hand gestures. Arguing. I was at a falafel stand yesterday, and these two guys start having what sounds like a massive fight. I'm thinking maybe I should call someone, maybe intervene, maybe run for my life. Turns out they were debating whether tahina or hummus is the superior falafel topping. Tahina or hummus? They were ready to throw hands over condiments. And then, after 5 minutes of what sounded like they were planning each other's destruction, one guy claps the other on the shoulder and says, "Yalla, let's get coffee." That's when I realized, in Israel, arguing isn't conflict, it's communication. It's how people show they care enough about something to engage with it. Coming from a culture where we avoid conflict like it's contagious, this was revolutionary. Someone disagrees with you? Don't passive-aggressively post about it on social media. Argue about it, right now, with volume, with passion. Then get coffee and move on with your life. So here's what I've learned in my first few months of Israeli life. This country will challenge everything you think you know about personal space, appropriate conversation topics, and acceptable decibel levels for public discussions. But it will also feed you, adopt you, give you unsolicited life advice, and somehow make you feel like family before you even know what happened. It's like being welcomed into the world's most dysfunctional, most loving, most completely insane, extended family. And once you're in, you're in. For better or worse, in sickness and in health, through bureaucratic nightmares and language barriers, till passport do us part. This has been Aliyah, the comedy, and remember, if you're not laughing at your life choices, you're probably not making Aliyah correctly. Next week, dating in the Holy Land, where I discover that Israeli dating is like regular dating, except everyone knows someone who went to high school with your potential soulmate, and they will have opinions about your compatibility. Shalom, and try the hummus.